All right. So, as we have been discussing on the topics related to the consciousness, so we have been talking about two things. One is the origin of consciousness, and another is the nature of consciousness, right? And the nature of consciousness, which basically we are interested in understanding the nature of consciousness to to really figure it out what is the exact definition of consciousness. So, and that study, or let's say understanding the nature of consciousness or understand the definition of consciousness, would indirectly also leads us to where to search for is the origin of consciousness. So this origin problem really is an important problem, and today we will discuss about the philosophical aspect of how to address this problem of origin, for that matter any problem of origin. So when you look for, when you try to understand, or when you try to figure out origin of anything for that matter, whether it's a phenomena or it's an object or it's an the emergent property, I mean the emergent kind of nature which comes out from the interaction of multiple object. uh, so how does it start? For example, so when you talk about origin of something, we immediately associate some sort of time into that problem, which means that from t equals to 0 things might have started to happen, right? So to understand, or let's say to address the problem of origin, definitely as far as we could understand, as far as I could understand, we need two things. One is of course a time, and another is of course a something. Okay, we may not be sure about what is that things, but there should be something from where the thing which we are looking for might have started appearing, right? Now in our day-to-day life we encounter so many things. Okay, so meaning to say that we start to see the things, or we start to observe. So seeing may not be the only things that we know, or let's say we start to observe thing, or let's say, let's put it in this way, we start to perceive thing for the first time, right? So with related to that person, the origin of things is that, right, when he starts to perceive. However, that may not be the absolute origin. So here we are talking about the absolute origin, which means that whether I have seen it now or not, but the things might have started quite before, right? So it means that we are talking about the absolute origin. So with that respect, so for that matter, the consciousness also, we are trying to figure it out from where it might have started, right? The origin. Let's say even if we start to think that okay, consciousness is a kind of emergent property, and which means that it is coming out from the complex interaction of different neurons that are there in the human being, right? So if you are taking that route, so it means that either, so this problem would take us to either we should look for then now at the neurons or at the brain, and basically try to manipulate or control the things and observe the effect, right? So we take the cause and effect approach. So here with that, with respect to the cause and effect, so we say the consciousness is an effect. However, the cause of that consciousness is interaction in the brain, right? Now even if you take the truth, so then the second question comes is what made the brain itself to interact among each other. right? So what is that things which is triggered in the brain itself, trigger within or inside the brain itself, which then gives rise to give rise to consciousness, right? So then the problem really is from where does it started, right? Where does it started? So therefore this problem of origin is really a philosophical. So the moment you say that t at t equal to 0 there was a something, and then the second question, the next question come is how does that something existed, right? How does that something existed out there? Because the moment you say that something must have started, originated, so there must be some substance, right? There must be substance. Even if you go by the other kind of philosophy, which is a voidism, we say that there is a way from where the something could also emerge out of nothing, right? Now this kind of is not very easy to accept, that something could emerge out of nothing. If something could emerge out of nothing and you really try to trace back how does that, what that, first of all it is not very easy to comprehend what is nothing, right? Whether it is a substance, whether it is a subtle object, or whether it is an idea, or it is a concept, what is that nothing exactly means? So therefore in one of our philosophy, particularly in the philosophy of Vaishnav philosophy, we do not accept this, something coming out from nothing. What the Vaishnav philosophy says, according to Bhagavad Gita and according to Srimad Bhagavatam, is this, that when you are trying to trace this, origin of something, right? So there must be something which is existing, right? Again, if you go back and ask that how does that existence is possible, or what might have happened before that. So according to our, the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, we do not stop at t equals to 0, rather we trace back and back and back and back and back, and really to the infinity. So therefore this, like spiral question of where the things might have started, or let's say when might have started, or how it might have started, really leads us to the infinity. So which also implies indirectly that there must be something which is eternally existing, right? There must be substance or something which is eternally existing. Now the problem, so therefore the really the question of origin, it's really to figure it out, what is that substance, or what is that, object or the concept or whatever, which could really exist in eternal time, right? Which could really exist in eternal time, which means that which might not have started anywhere, or which would never end. So this is the real problem that we should be looking for. I mean, what is that object, or what is the nature of that object for that matter, and we should look for this. So therefore in the material world, the physical world that we experience in day out, we have to examine each and every object, whether they in any form really they in any form really could exist in eternal time. So one thing that we learn from our physics is something which we call it as energy, and which we say that which can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it only can change its form from one form to another form, which also indirectly implies that it is eternally existing. So such kind of energy must be eternally existing. So our main like our main proposal here is that we must investigate that such kind of substance, what are those, or what kind of substance really can sustain this, eternity, right? Really can sustain this eternity. So this is our main kind of proposal. So therefore the origin of consciousness problem, right, needs to be re-looked at from that perspective, right? What is that, and for that matter origin of anything, right? What is that substance which could sustain the existence in eternity, right? So we'll clarify this thought in more in the further discussion, but for today let's stop here.